Ever since the very end of the prequel trilogy era by creator George Lucas, a lot of fans around the world have really wanted to see more of Anakin Skywalker portrayed by actor Hayden Christensen in the overall Star Wars franchise. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, the one thing about Disney Star Wars is that we do know that they are trying their absolute best to really make Star Wars just as good as the Marvel Cinematic Universe when it comes to its success rate. That's exactly what they want to do when it comes to Star Wars, is that they actually want to make Star Wars on the same exact level as the MCU as far as quality goes, and as far as how many projects they can really put out in one year. Eventually, they want to meet that actual same exact level. What Kevin Feige has done. He has actually been doing an amazing job with the MCU, way better than Kathleen Kennedy and how she handled the Star Wars universe before with the sequels and the other spin-off films and more. Now, looking at The Rise of Skywalker specifically, we do know that this movie had a lot of issues behind the scenes. In fact, we do know that this movie by far had one of the most difficult productions out of all three Star Wars movies within the sequel trilogy. And that's just a given fact because this movie went through two different phases of reshoots. We had one of which at the very end of 2018 and another of which in the very beginning of 2019 that Kathleen Kennedy initiated. So, the one thing that a lot of fans were really looking forward to was, of course, the character of Anakin Skywalker, portrayed by Hayden Christensen in his return. This was really his last, chance to really appear in a major film, in an actual Skywalker saga movie itself. And they failed miserably at actually making that happen. Now, one of the most beloved characters in the Star Wars franchise is Anakin Skywalker, who was one of the core of the prequel trilogy era by George Lucas, portrayed by Hayden Christensen. The production for, of course, the reshoots and rewrites, it went through multiple times, of course, ordered by Kathleen Kennedy. However, it's described that behind the scenes, actor Hayden Christensen was very upset and angry with Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy for cutting him from the role of Anakin Skywalker in the latest Star Wars film that would end the saga that started back in 1977. Hayden originally was going to have numerous scenes in the film that were going to be very powerful, and Kennedy deleted them since she was not so impressed with Hayden Christensen's work in The Rise of Skywalker. This also left many fans very let down with the final film that had any chance of Anakin's return. So, once again, a lot of fans were looking forward to this, and Disney and Lucasfilm just failed miserably on that part. However, the things, of course, with Kathleen Kennedy, and that Kathleen Kennedy only included his voice from one of his scenes that were cut from the film to be used in the final cut of the movie. So in case you guys did not know and are out of the loop, the voiceover of Hayden Christensen as Anakin at the very end was actually taken by one of the original scenes that Anakin was in, and Kennedy actually deleted it and only used the audio when he had a scene with Rey within a place called the Lost City. Now, Hayden, during the second phase of reshoots, was still somewhat involved before he got cut from the movie entirely, and that Hayden had so much to offer as Anakin Skywalker through his interactions with Ben Solo, Rey, and even Luke Skywalker. So, the thing about Anakin Skywalker not being in the film, I think, was the main cause as to why there were far less repeat viewings of the movie. Let's face it, if Anakin was in the movie, people would have saw this thing multiple times. I know a lot of people only saw this movie once and that was it. Some people may have seen it twice at max. For the most part, of course you're going to have your exceptions, right? Some people may have seen it 3, 4, or 5 times, but for the most part, the majority didn't really see it all that much, and there were far less repeat viewings than even The Last Jedi in comparison to The Rise of Skywalker. So, with that being said, when we look at everything what J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio tried to put together before Kathleen Kennedy intervened, is that he was going to use a lot of ideas by Colin Trevorrow, and Colin Trevorrow had some pretty amazing ideas where Rey would go over into the netherworld of the Force and meet Obi-Wan, Yoda, Luke, and others, and that he wanted to take that and evolve that by also using Anakin Skywalker and having Rey becoming a part of the netherworld, and where she has to choose if she wants to stay there or if she wants to go back. That scene was originally going to be shown where she's temporarily dead, where we would actually see Rey in the netherworld, kind of like in this, world where she has to decide if she wants to stay in the mortal world or if she actually wants to stay in the netherworld of the Force until Ben Solo saves her. You know, I think that what they tried to do is they really tried to give us a different perception of, you know, what was really going on with Rey before Ben Solo even got the chance to go ahead and save her, where she would meet Anakin and others. You know, that was just one prime example of how powerful the movie really could have been. And we got a little glimpse into the netherworld when we saw Rey looking into the stars and how it shapes into that. But overall, guys, you know, like I've said before, let me know what you think about this entire situation between Kathleen Kennedy and Hayden, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.